Greetings from the Yoder garage at the Yoder farm. This is an interview I've been wanting to do literally since I met Dean Yoder a few years ago. Dean's on the right, his son Ben is on the left, and they're going to talk about whatever suits him. So it's hard to get this guy to sit down on the right. It's hard to get him to sit down, but I finally got him to do it. I am going to ask very few questions, but I'm just going to start by asking both of them. My understanding is this is a centennial farm, which means it's been in the same family close to or more than 100 years. So let's start there. Let's find out how long this farm's been in the Yoder family. And whoever wants to talk, go ahead and talk.
Yeah, I don't know exactly when it was. I'd have to look at the deed. It was Homer Yoder, my grandfather's farm, and Dad bought it from him, and Ben and I bought it from Mom. We bought it from Dale after Mom passed.
The trust.
Now, Dale's your brother?
Dale's my brother.
Okay. And between the combined acreage of the farm, how many Yoders live here over the entire area, over the entire acreage? How many Yoders? By that I mean how many families live here in different houses?
Well, same house, Mom and Dad. Well, I was raised here, born and raised here, born in Iowa City, but raised here. Then my cousin Mary rented the house for a while, and then when she moved out, Ben moved in and has been here ever since.
So the house that we're talking about is the house across the lane there attached to the garage. You grew up in that house, Dean?
Yes.
Okay, and then Ben remodeled it when he moved in with his family. But isn't there other houses, or at least one other house in the vicinity that a Yoder lives in?
Well, on the south end of the farm in the timber, I built the house that I raised my family in, and then when we bought the farm, we sold that house and the 10 acres it's on to my son Joshua.
So Josh lives there. Okay, does Dave also live? Your son David, does he also live?
Dave lives about 4 miles northwest here.
Okay, and so that's not on the Yoder farm.
No.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask you, when did you start getting interested in Model Ts? And I know in your shop is the block of a T that you drove in. You remember being 5 or 6 or 7. So was that your first memory of a Model T?
Yeah, Uncle Ted's the Silver Streak. It was a 4th of July church picnic, and I rode in it with Uncle Ted down to the Willow Grove School and back, and that basically is what hooked me on Model Ts.
Were you about 7 then?
I was around closer to 5.
Or closer to 5. Okay. Yeah. So when did you buy your first Model T?
Oh, I was about 50.
About 50 years old. So you had the bug, but you didn't buy one until you were 50.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the kids grew up, of course, with Model Ts. When did you start actively taking your T outside the area and starting to go on tours and such and travel in the country? How old were you then?
Well, it was 1999. Don't remember how old I was then.
Right. But you had gone on tours, organized tours before then.
No.
Not before 99.
No. That was the first tour was in Fulton, Missouri, and Joshua and I took the 24 touring down there, pulling a trailer behind it.
Okay. All right. And when did Ben, when did you start getting involved? As a kid?
Yeah, whenever he bought the stuff, I always help him out with stuff in the shop. And
Now, how old were you? How old do you remember being when you started coming out and helping your dad?
I don't remember ages.
Okay.
I'm not sure how old I am now.
So when did you start taking a more active interest, and when did you get your first Model T?
I don't have Model T. They're all dads.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So these are all your
All
dads.
dads.
Okay. But how many Model Ts do you have now, Dean? About 5?
I don't know.
More than that.
So, folks, we're here at the Yoder Farm. Apparently, nobody knows anything.
I
But
just-
those are shared by at least 3 generations. So you've got Dean, you got Ben, and then his sons are involved, right? And they're involved in the hobby. They drive Model Ts, right?
They like to drive down to
Right.
Kelowna for ice cream.
well, yeah, we're in the prom and
Yeah.
Okay.
stuff, but yeah. Well, I just started helping in the shop, and then I would buy tools. Just he wouldn't buy the tools he needed, so I'd have to.
So, folks, there's an ongoing, very jovial, running discussion about tools and putting them away and who's hiding things from other people. That's part of what goes on at Yoder Garage. Ben, you're a pretty proficient Model T mechanic in your own right, aren't you?
Well, I don't know if I'd say that. I just,
But you've helped your dad
well,
out.
yeah, I know a lot about him, but not as nearly as much as he does.
Okay. Have you ever poured Babbitt?
No,
Okay. Have
he
you ever?
does. That's his fun.
Okay. But you've honed out blocks and done things like that.
I've helped him do that.
Okay, and work on cylinder heads and so is this something that you see continuing with your family, your sons?
I'm sure we'll continue.
Okay, all right. So anything else you guys want to talk about? Because I know you didn't even want to talk sitting down, but is there anything else that Dean, is there anything you want to say to someone out there that's considering buying a Model T?
Do it.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun,
Yeah,
especially if you like to tinker.
yeah. And you can easily do most things on your own car, right?
Yes, if you buy the book that Ford put out and maybe the MTFCA manuals, they pretty much tell you what to do it. If you're mechanically inclined, you can do it.
Okay. So the best thing to do, what would you advise someone in the market for a Model T to do if they have no experience at all, but they have an interest? How should they go about getting the right Model T the first time?
Oh, probably should join a local club and have somebody look at it that knows with them. That'd be the best thing you could do.
Right, someone experienced.
Problem is in areas there is no local clubs.
Right, right. But try to have someone with experience from a practical standpoint come out with you and look the car over before you pull the trigger and make the purchase.
Yep.
Okay. So Ben's into the model planes. He flies those. Riley's into cars and crashing them and then getting another one and putting them back together again. But that's a subject for another conversation. So here we are at Yoder Garage. It's a kind of a chilly late fall afternoon on a Saturday. I want to thank Ben and Dean for sitting down with me. I wish they were more conversational. And when the video ends, they will be. They'll be engaged. And it's hard to get Ben to sit down too, because he's always working. He comes home and he's working out in the shop. And these guys are, they may not be farming the land, but they're living the life of a farmer. That's it for me, Freighter Jim. Thank you, Ben and Dean. You folks out there, have a great weekend. Remember, drive safe, arrive alive.